Hey guys, welcome back to Willow Creek. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So in today's video, we are going to be making a ton of homemade, handmade gifts together. I have the day off today. I'm kid-free, husband-free, so I have just a moment to sit down at my table and work on this. I don't like waiting until the last minute to finalize my Christmas shopping. So I know Christmas is still a little ways away, but it's a good time to be thinking about it. And I figured since I'm already working on it, this may give you guys some inspiration and ideas of some other things that you could potentially hand out this Christmas season that are really inexpensive and make just really, really good gifts. The gift of being able to make something food-wise for other people is always really nice. It allows people to get inspired, and even people that aren't apt to cooking, if you hand them a gift that they can make themselves, usually it entices them to get in the kitchen and utilize the thing that you have given them. So I think that that's really cool, and I'm very pro handmade, homemade gifts. I think that that's really awesome, and I love being able to do that for my friends and family. So we are going to be doing chocolate chip cookies in a jar. We're going to be doing brownie mix in a jar. We are going to be doing butterscotch pecan cookie mix. I've never had that, but it sounded absolutely fantastic. So we'll be doing those baked goodies in a jar. And then we are also going to be making some face and body scrub together. I got a bunch of stuff. Sorry, you guys probably can't see as much stuff that is over here, but my table is filled with all kinds of stuff to accommodate these goodies for Christmas. So then we are also going to be doing some peach infused vodka gifts. I did peach infused vodka probably 3 months ago, and infused vodka is super easy. It's just fruit in your vodka. So it's been sitting on my pantry shelf. I'm going to hand some of that out for the Christmas season. I also have some like spice mixes that I could do as a gift. And then I also want to do some of my homegrown, home dehydrated herbs. Now, I know herbs aren't like a super crazy gift to receive for Christmas, but my family really does enjoy herbs, and herbs are kind of expensive. So if I have an abundance, I do try to share that. I grow green basil every year, and then I also grow dark opal basil every year. So it's just really pretty in the jar with the purple and the greens and things. So, extras of different herbs and things that you've grown that other people might not have access to also make a really good gift. I did go a little bit crazy at Walmart on the decorative things the last time, and I'll leave a video above. We decorated jars together whenever I made the jams and jellies, but I was in the craft section and then I totally forgot that Christmas is like coming up, so they would have probably Christmas decorations, and I found a ton. So I got a whole bunch of different ribbons and twine and bows, and they had like different colored twine for Christmas colors. They had little like Santa Claus ribbons to use. I got a bunch of different colored Christmas buttons. And I still have all of the fabric that I purchased last time with you guys. So this is going to be really fun. We're going to make up some stuff, and I'll get to decorate the jars on camera with you all. I had to voice over the ending the last time because my daughter was home and she was being absolutely feral, which is totally fine, but it's not very good for you guys to be able to hear and see what I'm doing. So this is going to be super fun. What I did to prepare for this basically is I went ahead and got a mixing bowl out. I grabbed a bunch of jars. I grabbed our flour, sugar, brown sugar, salt, the mixing dishes, the measuring cups, so that it's all just right here. And I don't have like a super convenient spot in my kitchen to do a big like bulk day of this. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to clear my table off and we are going to do this together. So first things first, we're going to start with the chocolate chip cookies. And to make these in a jar, basically we're just taking the dry ingredients and putting them in a jar, and then we will put a label and the baking instructions and everything with these, so that whenever you go to gift them away, it's right on the label of how to prepare them and the extra ingredients that we need to add. And I will walk you through all of that. So we need 1 3/4 cup flour, and then we need 3/4 teaspoon baking soda and 3/4 teaspoons salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and combine all of this in our mixing bowl. And like I said, I went ahead and grabbed all of my stuff out so that I can just kind of divvy each thing individually and work pretty efficiently in both. and stick that in here. And then we need 3/4 cup flour. And I am going to be making multiple jars of each, but I don't want to double anything in here and have the ratios be wrong. So I'm just going to do them one at a time. And if you get like a station set up like this, it does make it a little bit easier to do that. So not a big deal. And then we need 3/4 tablespoon baking soda, which I have right here. Okay, so 3/4 tablespoons baking soda and 3/4 tablespoons salt. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw a pinch in here. Couple pinches. Now, after those ingredients are in our bowl, we're just gonna go ahead and mix them up really well. So go ahead and get that combined. We're gonna do this mix on the bottom. So I'm gonna start layering this in. And be careful because this is a little bit messy. So then basically what I'm gonna do is just take a spoon and kind of push that flour mixture down as much as I can so that it's pretty even looking in the jar. And then we will start layering in our other things. So you just wanna make sure that you're pushing the sides down just a smidge so that everything is even, because however you leave this is how it will look on the sides. So our flour and baking soda and salt is in here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and layer in the sugar. So we need 3/4 cup brown sugar. And I really want to get a new brown sugar container, you guys. This one, it's fine, but I would rather have my brown sugar in like my sugar and flour container so that I can actually get this scoop in here, because it is kind of a pain trying to get it in and out. Okay, so here's our brown sugar. And you want to make sure that that's packed. And we're just gonna take our spoon and kind of put that back in. And again, I'm just taking the spoon and pushing this down really good so that our lines are really well defined and everything looks pretty symmetrical in the jar. And that is what that's looking like so far. Looks really, really cool. It's almost like one of those like sand things. Did you guys ever have those as a kid? I lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for a couple years whenever I was younger. So we always had the little sand like toys and things that were different colored down like on the beach for like the trinkets and stuff. So that's what it reminds me of. Okay, so after you have the brown sugar in, now we need 1/2 cup of regular sugar. And again, we're just gonna pour that right on top. And I was a little bit low, so I'm just gonna add just a bit more there. Okay, so here's what that's looking like again. And the original picture had the chocolate chips in between the flour and the sugar, but I was scared the sugar was gonna fall through the chocolate chips and it wasn't gonna look that pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the chocolate chips on top, and it says we need 1.5 cups. So hopefully I can fit that on the top of this. Okay, and once you get the chocolate chips on the top too, you can kind of push them down, which helps like push everything in there. I just have a little bit left in this. Oh, that was absolutely perfect. And look at how cute. Doesn't that look awesome? And I just have some lids, and then we will go ahead and screw this on, and one jar is done. So I think what I'm gonna do is get the other chocolate chip one done really quick and then maybe decorate them in between, because doing this over and over and over can become incredibly tedious. So I kind of want to decorate in between, and that'll be like a little treat and fun thing to give me some motivation to do all the other ones. So I will get another jar done and then we will decorate them together. Got our other jar done, and then what I have been doing is I just bought like a little sheet of fabric at Walmart. Actually, I bought a pack of different fabrics, and I've just been cutting little squares to put on top of the jars. And this one that I bought is about my favorite print. So I am gonna go ahead and cut up 2 squares from this to decorate the tops with. And the square doesn't have to be like super big or anything. It's gonna be a little bit bigger on these because they're wide mouth, but you're basically just cutting like, I don't know, like maybe like a 6 or 7 by 6 or 7. And the lines for cutting these do not have to be perfect, you guys, because they're gonna be frilled with those lids on them anyway. So definitely don't have to be super, super meticulous about it. Okay, so then after you get one done, you can kind of measure. And like I said, I did cut this one a little bit bigger just because it's a wide mouth jar and not a regular mouth. And it looks like this is gonna be perfect. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna place this fabric over top and you're gonna hold it down as tight as you can get it so that we can screw the band on. And then if it's frilly at the top, basically just take the fabric and pull on the sides to kind of tighten that back up. And that is what that looks like with the fabric on. Now, because of where I cut it, you will have probably just some little frills on the side, and I just go back and cut those off. So not a big deal if you have them, just get them trimmed back off, and then it just kind of cleans up the side and makes it look really pretty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get a square cut out for this one, and we'll get this one on as well. And if for whatever reason you did decide that it's too much after you cut it, you can always come back and trim the excess off. It's not a huge deal. So if you want it shorter, like that's a little bit short on the front and longer on the back, but I don't personally mind it. So if you do want to trim off some, feel free, but I'm just gonna leave it as is. This one I am gonna trim because I cut it like longer as opposed to wider. So I'm just gonna take just a little bit off this side so it's a little bit more symmetrical here. So then there is what the second one is looking like. How cute, right? Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and take some of this twine and wrap it around the top. And I am not super crafty, you guys. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. I'm really not. I try, and sometimes I do things that come out looking really good. Other times I do things and they do not come out looking very good. So if I can do this, you can do this, I promise. Because like I said, I am not very good at these things. I have a best friend who is just like so good at crafts, and like everything she touches turns out just beautiful. I don't have that gift. I can make good food, but in terms of like making crafts and things, that's just not my strong suit. So we will see how this turns out. And I'm just gonna take this and kind of wrap it around a couple times to kind of get rid of that metal on the jar, if I can figure out how to do it, and tie it. Okay, so something like that. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how to tie like really good bows or anything, but I think that looks pretty cute actually. So I'm just gonna move the back of this up just a little bit so it actually sits like around the metal itself. And I'm actually pretty impressed by that. Very cute. I kind of want to put a big bow on this one, or not like a big bow, but like a little like silver one up top instead of doing the ribbon. Okay, so that one's got a little bow on top. And then I think well, it's not sticking. Not sticking very well, guys. Maybe like on the side. I wonder what that would look like. No, I don't think that's gonna work because of the fabric. I don't know if that's gonna stick or not. You know what? I bought some craft glue. So I am just going to put some glue on the bottom of this and stick it right on the top. And then I really kind of want to use these little puffy ones for this one. I don't want to make them all look the same, so I'm going to try and do it differently for each one of them. But I really want to use these because they're adorable. Cute, guys, look. How adorable is that? That is so cute. Okay, so we got those two done. And you know what, guys? I kind of goofed because we're supposed to put the label on these. So I might just, I don't know yet. Maybe I'll like stick it on the side or like do something in that regard, or maybe just hand them the baking instructions on a piece of paper or something. I don't know. I don't have very good penmanship. And the only thing I was able to find was some index cards. So I did buy a hole punch because I was thinking I could cut these in half and stick them on the jar with some twine. And then they would have like the full baking instructions. But I don't know if that's gonna look tacky or not because those are just plain white pieces of paper. So I'll figure that part out later. But for now, those jars are incredibly adorable. Get you a better close-up so you can actually see better. Those turned out super cute. The next cookie that we are going to be making is the butterscotch pecan cookie. So to start, we're gonna do the exact same process. All of the dry ingredients are gonna go in here and we'll mix them around and add that to our jar first. So to start that, we need 1 1/4 cup of flour. And I've just been keeping all of my dirtied utensils and things since we're going to be remaking the same exact stuff in them right here. So I'm just gonna get some of these out of the way and then we can just keep reusing those. So 1 1/4 cup of flour. Let's go ahead and get this out. And again, I will be making 2 jars of this. I'm just gonna do them individually. So there's 1. Okay, 1 1/4 cup of flour, and then we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we need a pinch of salt. I'm gonna give this a good mix. And I will leave all of the recipes and everything down below for you guys, so don't feel like you have to remember what I'm saying. This is just gonna give you a good idea of how to do it. But I will leave everything down below. Okay, so once we have that, we need to add it to the jar. I always pick to do these things on days where my housekeeper like just came here. So everything's freshly clean and I am dirtying it all up again. Okay, so once again, I'm just packing all of that flour down in the jar and getting it off the edges. And then we need to add 3/4 cup packed brown sugar. Thank goodness for funnels, right? Now this is calling for 1 cup of butterscotch chips. Now I only grabbed 1 package of these. I thought I grabbed 2, but I only grabbed 1. So I think I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of the butterscotch and 1/2 of the white chocolate chips because I don't think, well, maybe, let me see. If we do just a little less, actually, I think I might have enough to do that. So I might not need the white chocolate chips, but I was thinking if I didn't, you could substitute a different chocolate chip and do it that way. So then we're gonna add those on top. And then we need 3/4 cup of pecans, and I have some chopped right here. Making a mess. And like I said, once you get stuff in here, you'll probably have to push it down to make room. Okay, perfect. Ooh, that looks really pretty, you guys. Okay, so the first jar is down. This smells incredible. I think this is gonna be such a good cookie combination. I've never had something like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the second jar done and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I got the other jar done and I took a moment to clean my table and get things resorted around again. I like to pick up and clean as I go. So I am gonna change the fabric this time. This one is just a white and red, and I'm gonna use it on both of these jars. So again, I'm just gonna get our squares cut out and then we will get the fabric placed on both of them. For those of you that make labels to go with these, like what websites do you use and how do you do it? Maybe I'm just not tech savvy enough to figure it out. Like, do you buy them? Do you make them? Is there like a program that you use? I would love to know. Because I feel like that's really the only thing that is missing from these is the label and like the ingredients and stuff. So like I said, I'll figure out how to do all of that and kind of incorporate it, but it would be cool to figure out how to do some of the really fancy labels that I see everybody doing with theirs. Now, if you would rather use the regular mouth jars to wrap the twine and stuff around, I do feel like that would look a little bit better, but I just think it's gonna be easier to pour the mix from a wide mouth jar in a bowl whenever people go to make this. So that's what I'm using, but you definitely don't have to use that. You could use a regular mouth jar if you'd like. I saw these Christmas buttons at Walmart and I've been wanting to use them on something. I don't know if I can put this twine through. No, probably not. But I think if I glue some buttons on top and then wrap the twine around it, I think that would be really cute. So that's what I'm going to try. We'll see how it turns out. Good, or it might look really bad. We'll see. I'm going to put some of them up on top of the jar, like first. Some of these buttons would be big enough to wrap the twine in, but I don't know. So the buttons on top look really cute, and then I'm just gonna like wrap this twine around it and kind of see what it'll look like, because I can either do the regular twine or I could do the regular twine and then do like a ribbon on top. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a bow or something instead. Although I do love the buttons. It just, for some reason, it looks like really flat up on top of the jar. So I'm gonna find another application to use the buttons to decorate these with. But I mean, it definitely does look cute. It doesn't go with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so there's that. And I'm not good at tying bows, you guys, like at all. I'm not good at it. So if it comes out looking even the slightest bit decent, I am going to say that that's a win. And I'm gonna do like a big bow, maybe not that big, but like a bigger, just little red bow on top. Keep it simple, but that does look really cute. Cute. Okay, so that one is done. I really need to learn to tie a ribbon, you guys. Because if I could make this look cute with, or not a ribbon, sorry, a bow. If I could learn how to tie a bow, then all of these would look really cute and not so, oh, there we go, not so lopsided. Well, that's still a little bit lopsided, but it's okay. And then there is the second one. That one actually looks really good. I'm proud of that bow. It's not perfect, but it is cute. Okay, so instead of doing the brownie mix, because I realized I only have a little bit of Hershey powder, we will do that in another video together. But I am gonna go ahead and switch gears and get started on the face and body scrubs. Now, this is a super easy body scrub to make. I looked for like rose petals and flower petals at Walmart in the craft section. They did not have any. Usually I would add that stuff to this. And just a little tip for you guys, if you garden, the flowers that you grow throughout the year, you can dehydrate the petals and add them to things like this. And usually I have those on hand, but if you've watched my previous videos, I have 2 bunnies now, and a lot of the flowers and things that I grow are snacks for them. So I've been giving them flower petals as a snack, and I don't currently have any. So if I had some, I would add that, but I don't. So basically, it's just 4 ingredients. We're gonna use coconut oil, we're gonna use jojoba oil, I don't exactly know how you pronounce that, a little bit of honey, and brown sugar. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, I used a coconut oil salt scrub on my tummy every night before bed, and it just kept it super hydrated, super moisturized, and you know, just really allowed my skin, like as my stomach was expanding whenever I was pregnant, to not get any stretch marks or anything like that. So I love using homemade body scrubs, and I know there's some people that say using coconut oil on your skin isn't the best thing, but I have found that it works really good, especially if I have makeup on. I can use a little bit of the scrub and kind of get the makeup off, and it works really good for me. So these are just really good gifts to give to people. They can use it, you know, on their face, they can use it on their body, they can use it on their hands to exfoliate, whatever the case may be. So I have a big mixing bowl, and I'm going to make a big batch of this, and then we will transfer it into smaller jelly jars. But I do want to go ahead and get it mixed together first, and you don't have to use brown sugar. You could use salt, like a fine salt if you want. I just don't have a bunch of that on hand at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and use brown sugar for this instead. So I got this is 29 fluid ounces of coconut oil, and you can look up online and follow like the recommended measurements and things for this. But in my opinion, it is pretty easy to just throw together. The ratios, you do want quite a bit of brown sugar in it, but you can kind of feel what it's like. So if you don't want to follow an exact recipe, feel free not to and just throw it in here. But I will leave something for reference down below if you've never done this before. So, oh, and I can already tell. So this coconut oil is hard. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in my microwave for maybe like 15-20 seconds. You don't want this to be hot though, because what will end up happening is it will dissolve the sugar or salt that you put in here. So you want it to still be cool, but just a little bit liquidy in order for you to be able to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this heated up, and then I'll put this in the bowl. I am probably going to end up using all of this because I do have a lot of girls in our family, and whatever, you know, if I have extra, I love this stuff. So I don't mind having extra on hand at all. So, and I don't cook with coconut oil. I'm not the biggest fan of coconut oil in my cooking. I don't know. It just does not taste right in my opinion. So for other applications like this, it's good to have on hand, but otherwise, if it just sits on my cabinet, I'm not likely to use it. So, and another thing, you guys, you can take a mixer and whip this if you'd like and make it like super soft and fluffy. I'm not going to go that extra step, but you definitely can whip this and turn it into like a whipped body scrub if you would like to. And then I almost forgot, I'm going to be adding some scents in here as well. Now that is totally optional. You don't have to add scents. My mom bought me, what are these even called, you guys? Essential oils. My mom bought me a package of essential oils for Christmas last year, and I've just been using them for different things. So I have them on hand, and I'm going to go ahead and use them in here, but you do not have to do that if you don't want to. I think it said about 2 tablespoons on the recipe that I looked up, so I'm just going to do 2 good-sized squirts in here. Get that incorporated, and then we are going to do a little bit of this jojoba oil. This stuff is supposed to be really good for your skin and all kinds of stuff. So I have used it in the past, but the one that I used was for hair. This is for like skin and different things. So we are going to put, I don't know, maybe same thing, about 2 tablespoons or so. And then we'll probably do the equivalent of about 1 to 1.5 cups of brown sugar. I'm just going to start pouring this in here, and we will give it a mix and see how it's feeling. And you definitely do want more brown sugar or salt than you think you would, because that's what's going to give you that exfoliation. Some of this will melt into like the oils and things that you put in there. So I always go with a little bit extra than what I would typically think is needed. So that may look like a lot, but that's probably right where we want to be, honestly, because that's a lot of coconut oil. And this will turn like a brown color. If you don't want it to be more of like a brown color, use like the salt, because then it'll just maintain the white. So if you were using something like, you know, the flower petals or anything, and you wanted them to actually be able to be seen in the scrub, you would probably want to use some sort of white salt. But since I'm not putting any additives like that in it, this will be totally fine. And you basically just want to mix this until all of the chunks and things are out of it. And I'm just feeling it, the gritty. Like you can feel whenever you do that, the grittiness. If you take your finger in and you can feel like a decent amount of grit, then you about have the right ratio. This is more a feel than it's going to be following an exact recipe. So you just might have to feel it and see what it's feeling like. And with the brown sugar, that smells really good already, but I am going to go ahead and add some scent to it. So I have orange, bergamot, tea tree, lavender, peppermint, eucalyptus, and grapefruit. I think since this is a Christmas gift, maybe we should do some peppermint. Oh, I love the smell of peppermint. Okay, so we'll just do a couple of drops. That smells good, you guys. And again, with the scents, you'll just have to kind of smell and see how it's going. Some essential oils need only a couple drops. Other essential oils, you need quite a bit to really get the fragrance to come out. So, and this is super thick and beautiful. So now I'm gonna start getting it put into some jars, and I'm just gonna use these jelly jars instead of like a big pint jar because I know that this will go further in these. So I'm just gonna start filling these up. This is a great Christmas gift, but this is also a really good gift if you know somebody that is having a baby, because scrubs on your pregnant belly, on your sides, on your legs, I swear by it. I used it throughout my entire pregnancy, and it just kept my skin so moisturized and worked really, really good for me. So even if you don't want to make homemade Christmas gifts, if you know somebody that's having a baby, this is a good gift for them. One done. Scrubs are super expensive. I went to Bath and Body Works not too long ago and was looking at their scrubs, and it was like $16. Which, I mean, if you want to pay that, that's totally fine. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that you can make something very similar at home for very, very cheap. For all of the stuff that it took to make these is probably less than what you would pay for one body scrub from like a brand like that. So definitely is a money saver, and you know exactly what's in it. Okay, so then I'm just taking a rag or a paper towel and wiping these off. And they smell really good, you guys. Super, super good. That peppermint fragrance is really, really phenomenal. And these are a little bit liquidier because I microwaved them, but they will solidify in the jars. So here is what they look like. And I did not get all of the air bubbles out of it because it makes it look like a little machine went in there and made the layers. They look very, very cool. So now we're just gonna do the exact same thing. Basically, I'm going to decorate them. However, because the jars are much smaller, I don't think I'm gonna put ribbon on them, but I am gonna go ahead and put cloth on each one, and then I think I'm gonna put a bigger bow on the top of them, just because I think it would look really cute with the smaller jars. So I am gonna get started on that. And I save my old canning lids. If I've used it and taken it off and it's in good shape, I do save them. I'll just scrub the tops and recycle them from time to time. So that's what I'm doing here. Some of them have a little bit of writing on them, but it's totally fine. It's just easier to save reused lids for applications like this instead of using a brand new one every time, because canning lids are not cheap. Okay, so here are all of the things that we got done. We got the chocolate chip cookies in a jar, we got the pecan butterscotch cookies done, and we got the body scrub. Now, I was going to start on some of the other projects with you guys, but I realized that I'm out of just a couple of other things for the homemade rub mix that I want to do. We got to do the brownies in a jar. We will go through some of my homegrown home dehydrated herbs together, and we will do the peach infused vodka together. I also want to get a couple of different decorative things and look into the labels, because some of that stuff I really do want to have like a nice label or something to put on them. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do this as a series. Next video, we will finish up the remainder of the things that I listed, because this video is probably already getting pretty long, and that will give you guys a chance to kind of break it up and pick and choose what you guys want to do. So we will do a part 2 of this video together, where we do the rest of the food items and some of the other things that I mentioned. So that'll be really fun. I also saw online somebody do hot cocoa in mugs. So I kind of want to see if I can find some decorative Christmas mugs and do like hot cocoa in, or, you know, just something like that and be like a little bit more festive, because our family really likes to sit around on Christmas and watch Christmas movies together. Even whenever we go to other places, we kind of take part in just like the cozy comfort of being surrounded by one another. So I thought the Christmas mug idea would be really cool. We could all open gifts and eat and then sit down and have hot cocoa or something. So I will be looking into that, and maybe we can do that together too. So that is going to wrap up part 1. I will go ahead and give you guys a close-up of how some of these turned out. This one is my favorite just because the ribbon looks really, really cute. I was able to find a thing to do with those buttons, so I just glued some to the top, and this one has the twine. And then here is this one with a big bow on the side of it with that Christmas twine that I found. And then this one is kind of the puffy Santa Claus one, and it has the buttons on top too. I did go ahead and glue them on top. So these 4 look absolutely fantastic. I can't even believe that I made these. Like I said, I'm not crafty at all. So if I can do this, you can do this. And then we have these 4 body scrubs. And I am, like I said, going to go ahead and make another big batch of this with you guys probably on part 2 as well. And we'll try and find some flower petals or something that can be used in the scrub to kind of accent the white body scrub that we make together. So I'm definitely going to be looking into that as well. But I am super happy with these. I also have all the jams and jellies that we decorated together in the last video. So at the end of this series together, I will do a reveal of all of the things that I've been able to do, and maybe do like a price breakdown so you guys can see what it costed to do these things. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. I truthfully and honestly appreciate it so much. I hope you guys have gotten inspired from the video. If you don't have a huge budget this Christmas, I understand. Neither do I. I'm building a house, and my husband and I run many businesses together. So handmade, homemade gifts are super easy, super convenient, and you can give the gift of something that you made to somebody else this Christmas season. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in part 2.